What makes MotivBase the only platform to actually allow us to do ethnographic analysis with big data? The answer lies in the word context. Context is key because in order to function as an AI anthropologist, MotivBase needs to understand the context in which a particular topic is placed in culture. If you can't understand that, then all you're really relegated to doing is pattern recognition analysis. So let me give you a tangible example. Let's say you run a search on MotivBase for probiotics. Here's what's happening. When you run a search for probiotics, MotivBase isn't just going and gathering data where people mention the topic probiotics. MotivBase is actually gathering data on all the other topics that people mention within the context of that conversation about probiotics. So let's take a very tangible example. So let's say I'm on a forum somewhere, I start a conversation and I talk about probiotics, specifically mentioning that term. And let's say a user number one responds to me, but they don't talk about probiotics, but they talk about gut health. User number two doesn't talk about probiotics, they talk about their stomach issues. User number three doesn't talk about probiotics, they talk about their kids. Now here's what's happening. A typical analytics platform will ignore user number 1, 2, and 3 because they didn't mention the word probiotic. And as a result, they miss out on the opportunity to truly enable an ethnographic analysis because MotivBase is saying, nope, gut health, stomach ailments, application for kids' health, all of these are related topics that are in the same context as probiotics. In fact, when you take a large N sample, so you're looking at big data in the form of millions of these conversations, you're actually able to calculate and determine which of these topics is more relevant and which of these topics is less relevant to the culture of probiotics. And that's really the key to our ability to not only understand and surface back insights in terms of these meanings that people are creating around a particular search term, but more importantly, it allows you as a user and allows our team of anthropologists to very quickly do in-depth ethnographic analyses to understand what's really going on in a particular culture and how that culture might be changing. If you take a very tangible example of probiotics, it's really interesting because a year ago, a lot of the topics that were in close proximity to probiotics were actually around topics related to supplementation. But now when you run a search, you'll find that it's not so much about supplementation, but it's more so has become about fermentation and about foods and eating habits. And in fact, supplementation has moved further away in semantic distance from the core of probiotics. And so that distance movement away or inward is what allows our system to understand changes in culture, changes in the meanings that are revolving around a particular topic. And of course, it then uses that understanding to run a whole series of calculations in order to help us understand, okay, so based on the changes in this culture, what's changing in terms of its market potential, in terms of its growth potential, maturity, so on and so forth, all of which we'll, of course, address in some follow-up videos in this training module. But this should give you a good sense of why MotivBase is so capable of taking big data in the form of these millions and billions of consumer conversations and using this understanding of context in order to truly understand and surface back ethnographic insights on any topic that you might search for.